Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here with a review of episode 2 of the new season of Doctor Who. It's a little complicated, but basically the Christmas special back 4 or 5 months ago, that was considered episode 1 of this season. So this is now episode 2. It's weird. I don't know why they stopped calling them series, because that's how it used to run, series 1, series 2, but anyway, we open exactly where we left off at the end of the Christmas special, with Ruby entering the TARDIS for the first time, and the Doctor explains his history to Ruby. And for any of the audience that came in late to this series and doesn't know what's going on and is only watching because they like the new Doctor when they saw him. Anyway, after that, explaining how he's an orphan and he was found by the Time Lords, and Time Lords are no more, and so he's the only last of his kind in the universe, except I believe the Ronnie and the Master are probably still out there, but and really funny bit of explanation here where he explains, we don't go for names on Gallifrey, we went for titles. The Chancellor, the Delegate, the Doctor, the Professor, It's like, okay. He also throws in the Ronnie and the Master into that, but anyway, to prove what the TARDIS is, he takes her back to prehistoric time. A cute little throwback to the very first Doctor Who adventure, in which the Doctor and his companions were on the verge of the Ice Age, and they helped man learn how to make fire. Well, here Ruby asks, well, what if I step on a butterfly and change all of history? And the Doctor's, that stuff doesn't happen. This isn't science fiction. They go out. We see some dinosaurs. Pretty cool. And then she steps on a butterfly and changes into some kind of humanoid bird-like creature. The Doctor quickly grabs the butterfly and revives it, reverting Ruby back to her normal state that we are familiar with. And then back inside the TARDIS, he then engages the, let's see, what is it called? The butterfly compensation switch, which he had forgot to turn on. This apparently will prevent them from making any major changes from accidents like that, apparently. Next, he takes her into the far future to a space station where it seems to be abandoned, and they are attacked by a monster and they run away, which perplexes the Doctor. Why did he run? Because you were scared. But why was I scared? I've seen lots of things. I would be more inclined to want to examine it, try to learn to communicate with it. Why did I run? Why was I so scared? Well, they've got no time to figure that out. They've made their way to an upper level and have discovered the station is in fact a baby farm for colonizing planets. They're all in little tubes, and they get born, and then people will take them, and da. And there's also a strange buildup of pressure in one of the lower decks that's very concerning. It could blow a hole in the station. Then they meet a member of the crew, an infant in a motorized baby carriage. He can communicate with them. He thinks it's Mummy and Daddy finally come for them, and he turns and rushes back to the control room, the bridge, where all the other babies are there, and then they meet all these babies, and they're all calling them Mommy and Daddy, but no, we're not Mommy and Daddy. And then we learn there's an AI computer nanny in the system. And it schedules nappy changes, nose blowing times, and talking with the doctor, they also discover the thing down there. That's the Boogeyman. Why do they call it the Boogeyman? They just call it the Boogeyman. And the children are all afraid of it. It's here that the doctor gets told by the nanny that if he'll come to this one storage area, she'll explain everything. So he and Ruby head towards it until they, in their conversation, the doctor gets a flashback to the day of Ruby's birth. We saw in the Christmas special. And it starts snowing in the hallway. The power of a memory, the doctor says. Well, they make it a storage unit where they find out Nanny is a real person. She's not an engineer, but she's been doing her best to keep the place running and taking care of the children. Where is everyone else? Well, they were ordered back to abandon the station and head back, but they could not turn off the birthing machine. It's illegal to stop it once in process. So they just had to leave them all there and return. What if they're making a little pointed jab at a certain hypocrisy? We find ourselves in the arguments over abortion and right to life. Maybe. The reason the nanny stayed, she couldn't leave the children on their own. She just couldn't. Why is she pretending to be an AI? She did not want the children to watch her die. Better that they think of her as an AI. About this time, Ruby has an epiphany of what's going on. It's all a fairy tale. The children, the nanny, the monster, all part of a story. And the doctor looks at the monitor and realizes Eric, one of the infants, has gone down to face the Boogeyman because every story needs a hero. So they race down there, but his carriage is empty. And they get chased by the Boogeyman. They find Eric. He was hiding. They found him due to the fact that after encountering the monster, his nappy needs changed. Well, they are chased by the monster, and it looks like it's all over when the captain, another infant, shows up with a flamethrower attached to her carriage and chases the Boogeyman off. Well, the doctor repairs Eric's carriage and sends them all back up to the control room. He, and to his reluctance, Ruby, need to investigate to see what the heck the Boogeyman is. So they start exploring the under area, and they happen to find some samples of the Boogeyman's skin. You know, it's kind of reptilian and it sheds. And Nanny directs them to a place where they can get processed and examined, which the doctor does. And the doctor's realizing the entire computer is attached to all levels and interconnected. And he also realizes what the monster is when he sees what it's made of. It's made of snot. All the tissues that the infants have blown into came down here, and the computer created this monster because children need mental activity, and the monster helps with that. They need stories, lessons, problems to solve, that kind of thing. About this time, they are again chased, and Nanny, giving them directions, she's getting control of that down area, and leads the monster into a trap, an airlock, and she's opening it. Oh no, the doctor can't have that. He finally understands the importance of the Boogeyman, and he goes to save the Boogeyman, and the children are all upset. They don't want to lose their monster. He needs help, and the doctor saves the Boogeyman. And it is now a tame pet. It is whatever the children need it to be, because it's basically controlled by the computer. And the doctor has discovered exactly what that problem is, that buildup in one of the lower decks. It is methane from 6 years of full nappies being put down there. And this is a good thing, because there is a planet they could get to that could take the children. It's a refugee planet. Again, another little pointed jab at immigration and refugees, let's say. And since it's a space station that just orbits, it doesn't have any propulsion of its own. But the doctor, he figures out how to blow that one corner of the station, releasing all the methane in a huge explosion which will propel them to this planet. With everything taken care of, he and Ruby get back into the TARDIS, and he takes her back to her home for Christmas Eve and her birthday, and blah 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 blah. Although this time he lands it in the apartment, and it kind of trashes the ceiling of the room because it's taller than. And before he leaves the TARDIS, he is starting it to do a DNA analysis of Ruby, because there's just some questions he has about her and her mom. Although the doctor does tell her that he can never, ever take her to the day she was born. She cannot confront her mother who abandoned her. Not there. Maybe if in the future she meets her, that's one thing. But not in the past. It could change so much in history. So, that's where we leave it. Pretty good second episode. I like the absurdity of a bunch of infants who are able to communicate running a ship from their little baby carriages with ropes and things to activate little handmade hands to push buttons because they can't reach them. It's cute. And I can see why some people are getting upset with this season already. It does seem a little woke. As if Doctor Who was never woke. Don't be absurd. Come on, it's been woke since the 60s. Doctor's always been about justice, fairness, helping others, not judging people on first appearance, all that kind of stuff. Other species getting along with each other. Anyway, really looking forward to the next episode. The clip I saw at the end of this episode looks really interesting. You're going to have the Beatles and what looks to be one of the most flamboyant, over-the-top villains we've had in quite a while in, I believe they were called the Maestro. So, till then, please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.